Now, on Queer News Tonight, $2,000 per vote, and he still lost. Culture warrior Ron DeSantis is left out in the bitter Iowa cold.
The queer community has left its mark on last night's Emmy Awards. A new EGOT icon, a passionate kiss on the red carpet, and we find out during an acceptance speech, he is my television wife. We have every juicy detail.
This Pride Month, you are going to visit the start of the 1969 riots and the Stonewall Inn, but not in New York, rather rebuilt in Fort Lauderdale and the Stonewall National Museum. I'm picking up the first break.
The new heart of queer culture in America is not Florida or Hollywood, or New York and San Francisco. It is an online chat room of Reddit named Ask Gay Bros.
The new issue of Hotspots magazine will be on stands on January 18th. Don't forget to grab your free copy of the issue. It is going to tell you everything you need to know about LGBTQ+ South Florida.
Hello and welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ+ daily evening television news, broadcasting live and then available on demand on all smart televisions, including Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, Amazon Fire TV, as well as social platforms including Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. It's time to queer up the news. It is Tuesday, January 16th, 2024. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we're going to tell you this evening on Queer News Tonight.
This is the world's first live daily LGBTQ evening news show, literally out of the closet and into the headlines on Queer News Tonight.
I'm out South Florida senior reporter John Hayden. This evening, we bring you the news of and perspective representing the LGBTQ+ community from South Florida, America, and across our planet.
This is the world's first and only unedited live LGBTQ+ evening news show. Whatever happens unique in the LGBTQ+ news, you will see it and hear it.
Hotspots Magazine Happening Out Television Network is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same model of PBS and NPR, but designed for the LGBTQ+ community. Our mission is to support the 10 pillars of our LGBTQ+ community. We want to inform and educate the key issues of our Black community, Latino, lesbians and queer women, trans, students and youth, seniors, HIV and AIDS healthcare, business, social justice, and faith. Help us support our community.
We are part of one of the largest LGBTQ+ media companies in America, Hotspots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network. In 2024, our magazine is celebrating 40 years of the LGBTQ+ experience, and our television news, talk, and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ+ and broader community.
All right, well, let's begin by meeting tonight's panel, and we start with Dr. Tai Houser, a professor of English and Humanities at Broward College, and he teaches at the College of Business at FAU. He has served as a visiting professor at colleges in Bolivia, Brazil, China, India, Spain, and Antarctica, where he taught underprivileged penguins how to speak English. He also owns Linden Bridge, an educational experience company. Welcome back, Tai.
You know, I did that all under the Linden Bridge, guys, so it really was an educational experience for both the penguins and myself.
See, it's good to reach out. It's good. Flightless fowl rule. Up next, Cameron Glass, a South Florida actor and musician, as well as part of the permanent cast of the most popular live LGBTQ+ talk show in the world. It's Happening Out. Welcome, Cameron.
Well, howdy. Glad to be back.
We never get to sit on the panel together, it seems like.
I know. This is actually our second time, and me being here for over a year now, and it's just tolerable.
Who do I have to talk to?
Tolerable. High praise indeed. And finally, DJ Eric Restivo. He is the host of the Listen Sweetie podcast and is also known for his work as a headliner and DJ in clubs around the country, including WeHo and Wilton Manors. Welcome back, Eric.
It's so nice to be back. I feel like I'm being blessed with seeing you a few times this week, more than just once.
It is.
Happy to be here.
It is. We had cocktails the other day.
Oh yes, we did. No, it's dry January. There were no.
Did I have cocktails?
we'll catch you up, get you up to speed. But you've got a new gig.
I have a new gig. So yes, starting next week at the pub will be my new trivia meets charades meets name that tune, finish the lyric, a little bit of everything, a new modern take on a few classical games. So yeah, please come on out. It's from 7 to 9. It's going to be fabulous.
There are a lot of books in that promotional picture. Do I need to be well read to be able to do with this?
You do.
With this?
You do. Yes, you do. I would say that reading is fundamental.
So are Mormons. We are, I'm just kidding. I love my LDS friends. We are the reporters for Queer News Tonight. And this evening we begin with the queer headlines. The LGBTQ plus community in South Florida and across America is diverse. Our community around the world is vast. And here are the bullet points for the queer news for today, Tuesday, January 16th. First, let's queer up politics. Goodbye to Ron DeSantis. For the moment. While it's disturbing enough that former president and insurrection leader Donald Trump would win anything, including the Iowa caucuses, the silver lining is that Florida Governor Ron DeSantis lost. He finished 30 points behind Trump and barely ahead of Nikki Haley. The second place finish means he likely won't drop out of the race before next week's New Hampshire primary. But his cash burn rate is unsustainable. Despite spending $45 million in Iowa, and getting endorsements from top conservatives, he only scored 23,420 votes. So you divide 45 million by 23,420, that means he spent $2,000 for each person who bothered to show up and vote for him. DeSantis and Haley are staying in the race, and it only postpones the inevitable. Trump scored the highest margin of victory in the caucus history. At some point, DeSantis will have to return to Florida with his ego bruised and tail between his legs. But even here, DeSantis is damaged goods. Last night, both of Florida's senators, Marco Rubio and Rick Scott, endorsed Trump. Now, DeSantis moves on. If he thought Iowa was cold, he could have frostbite in New Hampshire. I mean, last night's numbers were not a surprise, but in a way they were a surprise. I mean, 30 points ahead. It's clear what's going to happen. It's clear the matchup in November is going to be Biden and it's going to be Trump. But DeSantis coming ahead and surging ahead of Nikki Haley was kind of a surprise. We thought he was going to finish third, but he's got terrible polling in New Hampshire. Turnout was depressed by the weather, so don't read too much into the, not a lot of people turned out or he didn't get as many votes. But it was bitter cold. Iowans, even if they're Republicans, are smart enough to stay home when it's that dangerous outside. So don't read too much into the raw vote totals. But my God, Trump is a steamroller. But while saying that makes me cringe, I also get to say DeSantis is a loser.
Well, especially because Trump didn't even show up. Like, he didn't do anything other than just commercials and spend money there. So it's not like he went knocking on doors. I mean, DeSantis made it a point to go into every district, right? He
county.
went into every county. That's right. Went into every county. So he was really working for it. Now, I'm a little hesitant about what's going to happen next in New Hampshire, because I think he might have a chance there.
DeSantis? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think DeSantis might have a chance there because the population is more urban, better educated, traditionally educated, and that's not Trump's demographic.
No.
So they're gonna pick someone else, and I think DeSantis might have a chance.
You think it would be DeSantis over Nikki Haley?
I'm not gonna make that call.
Okay.
I'm going to say he might have a chance.
Okay. And by a chance, do you mean to win or to pull within single digits? I mean, how are we?
No, I think he might have a chance to win. I think he might have a chance to win. Trump might struggle. And then maybe not. Maybe I'll be surprised. Maybe Trump will win hands down again.
Okay.
But we'll see.
Well, watch this space. We'll be talking about it next Wednesday on Queer News Tonight. I have no doubt.
Yeah.
Right? Eric, what did you take away from last night?
Well, I took away that I do not like anything having to do with the Republican Party. Obviously, that's an overgeneralized statement that I've said on this platform before. And I think it's almost like chef's kiss that if you do the math, that it comes down to $2,000 per vote, because it's kind of like he's just paying to be humiliated. And for me, I love that. That's what I took away.
I just want the $2,000. I don't.
Yeah, I mean,
I just want the $2,000.
Right?
But in saying this is for me. Before we move on to you, I with Republican conversation and debate, I always want to kind of be careful in my words, because between Trump and DeSantis, I do believe that there is a lesser of two evils, although disgusting between the two. I do think that Trump is the lesser of two evils, just because Ron DeSantis really, really scares me to the point of like I think he's going to send me to a conversion camp tomorrow. He really frightens me.
See, the thing is, I played that game in 2016.
The lesser of two evils. Yeah.
I was like, oh yes, please nominate Trump, because certainly no one will vote for him to be president. And that came back and bit me on the butt. Speaking of biting me on the butt, Cameron, what do you got to think?
What I've got to think is, I'm so tired. Jesus. How many times are we going to hear these, oh, he's going to make a fool of himself, he's going to do this, and yet people still love him. Mm-hmm. Everything's going to go his way, one way or another, whether it's him actually succeeding in this campaign or not, whether it's DeSantis or Trump. What really gets me is, if I, as a professional in any other situation, said, you know what, I'm going to start a fight, I'm going to start yelling, screaming, cussing, and literally berating my professional bosses and everything else, and the people that support me, they wouldn't take me back. Oh, but I want to come back. That's what Trump's doing. And that's kind of my main takeaway. It's not my main focus is DeSantis. It's, the fact that Trump is literally coming back harder and more strong at this point.
Yeah, Trump's never been one for retail politics. I mean, he didn't, and that's what Iowa is. You have to get out. You have to visit all 99 counties. You have to get out there and shake hands. And granted, yes, he did more of this in 2016 when he was first running for the nomination. But he didn't even bother, because he is smart enough to know he can't help himself, but he literally cannot help himself by getting on the debate stage with the others, by lending their campaigns any kind of credibility. So from that standpoint, he actually made a good decision. Before we move on, I want to say there was an interesting piece a couple weeks back on the Young Turks webcast, and they sent a reporter to Iowa to ask people if they would rather have Joe Biden for the next 4 years or Trump as a dictator for the next 4 years. And it's just so disturbing to hear them. It's not disheartening. It's disturbing that they are ready to sign on, absolutely, because it's their dictator that's coming. We've never had a personality cult this high in American politics that I can even think of. Maybe FDR, who won 4 terms. I mean, people had, their the WPA signs, everything. He generated a certain amount of love and till death do us part with the electorate. But that's as close as I can think of. So beware if we're saying he's the lesser of two evils, because, oh my God.
It's just evil. It's all just evil.
Evil.
Yeah.
Hey, I've got better news. Let's queer up entertainment. Here are the big LGBTQ plus Emmy Awards highlights. Queers, we love awards functions for the style, the drama, the laughter, and the sassiness that comes with it all. The 75th Primetime Emmy Awards held last night in Los Angeles were all of this and more. The awards were postponed from their usual fall date because of the Hollywood strikes. However, they came bearing fruits for the LGBTQ plus community. The LGBTQ plus media advocacy group GLAAD received the Television Academy's 2023 Governor's Award. GLAAD president and CEO Sarah Kate Ellis was present to accept the honor. Mama Ru took to the stage when RuPaul's Drag Race had its 5th Emmy win for Outstanding Reality Competition. He brought up several previous contestants when accepting his award, including Princess Poppy, who appeared on stage in Green Goblin drag, befitting a B-movie monster. B-movies it is. RuPaul used Emmy's platform to defend Drag Queen Story Hour events, saying, quote, "If a drag queen wants to read you a story at a library, listen to her, because knowledge is power." Queer musician Elton John was honored with the Best Variety Special Live Award for Elton John Live, Farewell from Dodger Stadium. He made history as the 19th EGOT winner, winning an Emmy alongside a previous Grammy, Oscar, and Tony. For the Dahmer fans, if you watched that series, I loved it, Niecy Nash-Betts wins the Emmy for her role as Glenda Cleveland, the neighbor of serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer. If this was not enough, White Lotus stars and queer community's favorite person, Jennifer Coolidge, dedicated her Emmy victory to all the evil gays after nabbing the trophy for Best Supporting Actress in a Drama Series. A favorite queer moment award speech came from Matthew Macfadyen for Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Drama Series for Succession. He made a special mention to Nicholas Braun, calling him his on-screen wife. No award function is complete without the red carpet, and this Emmys carpet became a rainbow carpet when people witnessed Joel Kim Booster and his boyfriend and their passionate kiss. I love award shows. There it is. Beautiful kiss.
The double.
Cute little bromance.
Went back in for the double, yeah.
Yeah, love it. Love award shows. Love the style. Love the fashion. Love to be there. That's how I became the nanny. No. Yeah.
What is wrong with us today?
I don't know. But I didn't realize that Elton hadn't won an EGOT before.
That's what I was just going to say. I had no idea that he was not already an EGOT winner. And also I loved Niecy Nash's speech, where she, thanked all the important people, then circled back and she thanked herself, and how hard she worked for this role. And she dedicated the role to all of the Black and brown actresses out there that, do not get enough representation. It was a great speech.
And obviously, as you said, the Emmys were moved about 4 months because of the actors and writers looking to get their new contracts so they could get fairly compensated over the next 10 years as technology develops and make sure that they don't get shut out. So thank you. And it was totally worth the wait. Doesn't Dahmer seem like forever ago, though?
Yeah, it really does.
September
So does White Lotus.
Of 2022.
Yes.
So it's been a minute, and but I just a couple. I'm going to get you in here in a second, but I want a couple things we need to clear up because some people won't know their recent gay history. Jennifer Coolidge does not think we're evil. She was referencing a line in The White Lotus.
Right.
I have interviewed her. I have hugged her. She's wonderful. Yes.
Also, DJs have created multiple club dance remixes from that one line that have been completely viral all over the internet and everywhere you can listen to music. So,
and Macfadyen and Braun co-stars on Fabulous Succession. They're not gay. They're not lovers. They were just having a bit of fun. So don't spam them or don't at them. Don't at them. It was a little smooch.
You can keep it platonic. Platonic love is adorable and even, actually healthy for people to have and well to express. It's also good for gay men, straight men, and everyone else to be able to, one, provide love, support, affection, and care to each other in a public aspect. What I want to do a shout out to especially is Princess Poppy for coming to Goblin. Girls.
And hasn't since that season she's retired from drag, so this was her first appearance back, and it was in this incredible,
how iconic.
Iconic.
Yeah, absolutely. Really. And one last thing, I've loved Niecy since Reno 911.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody remember that? That is so classic. It's on one of my streaming services. When I am a little high, I might sit down and just binge like 4 episodes, because it was such a good show. And I didn't realize Elton wasn't an EGOT.
Yeah, that's mind-blowing.
EGOT winner.
Mind-blowing.
Because the Grammys have the most categories of the 4. The Oscar and Tony are the hardest to get. I mean, so that he didn't have an Emmy already shocked me. I've been nominated for an Emmy. It was a local Emmy, but it still counts as an Emmy nomination. Like when Whoopi won she got her EGOT, and someone was like, well, yeah, but your Emmy was for daytime. No. Doesn't matter. You have that little statue holding up the atom. You are an Emmy winner, and you are an EGOT winner. So congratulations to all of the winners from last night, especially you, Wilton. He could definitely feel the love that night.
Oh, congratulations.
Wow.
Next, let's queer up South Florida and Florida. The Stonewall in Stonewall comes to Fort Lauderdale for June Pride Month. Hotspots magazine, Happening Out television network, produces Stonewall Pride Parade and Festival. And this year, it's going to be extra special. June 2024 marks the 55th anniversary of the Stonewall Uprising. It was not the first or last community action born out of a long history of liberation movements, including the civil rights, labor, and women's movements. So on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, the Stonewall National Museum, Archives, and Library recognized how close these movements are, the people we share, and how our missions overlap. This was what was behind yesterday's announcement for June Pride Month museum celebration of Stonewall in Stonewall. On June 28, 1969, a riot began at the Stonewall Inn in Lower Manhattan. Trans people, drag queens, gay boys, and others stood up to the police raids and harassment that was taking place. It was the moment of the start of the modern LGBTQ plus civil rights movement. This June, instead of going to New York City, you will find the Stonewall Inn right here in Fort Lauderdale. The initiative will feature an exhibit recreating the Stonewall Bar as it was on that night in 1969. Many special programs will include South Florida police and law enforcement talking about the seminal moment and the progress that has been made since. After Stonewall Pride in June, this exhibit will become a traveling show with the goal of visiting all 50 states over the next 10 years, when Stonewall turned 65. First stop, the new gayest place on planet Earth and Fort Lauderdale, Broward County. There is another way for you to become a part of this. If you would like your name or the name of a loved one to be placed somewhere in the exhibit, the museum is also accepting naming gifts. Hotspots Magazine Happening Out Television Network is 2024 presenting LGBTQ plus media sponsors of the vital role in the history that the Stonewall Museum represents. We plan on doing countless stories on all aspects of the Stonewall commemoration. More information about the special exhibit, Stonewall in Stonewall, can be found on the official website, stonewallmuseum.org. What a fabulous way to celebrate Pride Month. A great way to not only represent and show the history of the museum and what it makes for 1969 Stonewall action back in the day. So not only do our, like John, elderly gays get to relive the moments, but the youthful gays like myself get to firsthand kind of visualize and experience kind of what it was like, what the experience was. And the fact that the law enforcement and police is being so active and engaging with us instead of the opposite aspect to them is very influential to this.
Absolutely.
Stonewall Pride is always one of my favorite prides of the year because, you know, it's right here in Wilton Manors. We all go a little bit gay crazy. And I think this is...
Just a little.
Yeah, just a little bit. But I think this will do a good job of kind of allowing us to go crazy, but remember what's really behind this celebration.
Why we have this pride.
And why we really have this pride.
Mm-hmm. I was just going to add that I've DJ'd for Stonewall Pride before in Wilton Manors, and it really is lovely to just kind of look out from my booth and see a whole community together and living and feeling welcomed and safe within the streets of Wilton Manor. I love it.
I've made my pilgrimage to Stonewall in New York. No, there I am at the actual museum where they have
paparazzi got you.
Some of my work, yeah, and that was a very big honor, and I appreciate what they do for our history, both recent and over a century old. I love that this is going to be coming here. Have you guys ever been to the Stonewall
Archives Museum?
No, Stonewall in New York.
Oh, I have, yes.
In October, actually.
Yeah?
It was lovely. Such a very welcoming community. Any kind of person, anyone who was in the LGBTQ plus community and allies was there, and it just felt so like almost at home.
Yeah.
I went to college in New York City, so I've been everywhere in Stonewall. Let's just say that. All the crevices.
And you know, it's so important that we keep our history alive and we keep it front and center because some people in our community might say, this isn't news. This is something that's going to happen in 5 months in the little enclave known as Fort Lauderdale. That couldn't be further from the truth. This is news. All of our community events are news because they're an opportunity for us to come together. They may not be splashing across the front pages of a lot of papers, although out South Florida, yep. But it's important that we remember it. It's important that we recognize it. Even if you don't go to an event, tell a friend, repost it, share it, because someone's going to benefit from it. And before we move on, I want to address Cameron's shade. I'm not that old. At the Stonewall riots, I was still very young and I was only working as a barback. So quite a night to remember.
For the 34-year-old at that time, yes.
Whether you choose to believe John, that's on you. Next, let's queer up gay culture. Here's why Reddit Ask Gay Bros is the new heart of queer culture in America. LGBTQ plus community in America has suffered a lot of attacks in the last 2 years. Queer culture was also fortunate to be part of deep cultural roots like Stonewall Inn, the site of the 1969 Stonewall riots, Church of the Holy Apostles in Chelsea, one of the most important meeting places in New York City for LGBTQ plus organizations and individuals of the early post-Stonewall era, and Miami's Jackson Memorial Hospital, the first county-supported organization in the United States to help HIV/AIDS patients and their families. These places shaped LGBTQ plus history in the times when a physical space was needed for the queer community to share thoughts, connect with each other, and make a difference. But today in America, these places have been replaced by online platforms to talk LGBTQ plus and the culture of our community. One of the most effective platforms for taking the temperature of the gay community is Reddit, and it's Ask Gay Bros community. Ask Gay Bros was created over a decade ago on November 2nd, 2012, and it has now become a community of nearly 500,000 members. Ask Gay Bros is a place where anyone can ask gay manly men for their opinions on various topics. Advice, ask Reddit-style questions, ask me anything questions, and everything in between. And by everything, we mean nothing is off limits, including hard-hitting health questions, pop culture questions, new words and definitions about the gay community, entertainment, gossip, sex issues, and really anything. This platform has moved far beyond more traditional sites like Facebook and X. Reddit's Ask Gay Bros can have thousands of interactions and conversations about complex issues unlike any other place. Proof positive is that the platform that is attracting a significant number of Gen Z, like me, to talk about issues rather than more simplistic communication in other places. Ask Gay Bros has a stringent rules for participation, and anti-trolling and anti-bullying are at the top of the list. Is this important in 2024? You bet. The discussions taking place within this community and its impact are no longer limited to its members. Major media organizations in television, radio, print, and digitally regularly report and discuss topics that have been generated by Ask Gay Bros. This is especially true for LGBTQ plus news, including Out, LGBTQ Nation, Queerty, and for streaming television's Queer News Tonight. Reddit and Ask Gay Bros community has become a staple to understand the sentiments of LGBTQ plus people. Well, this is my first kind of raw dog intro into Reddit. And I will just say one thing sticks out before we get into probably the good of all of this. The name and the gay bros and the manliness, I already feel like it's putting apart different groups of our community.
I feel like if you can identify as a Gen Zer,
it was in
can
the
identify
prompter.
as manly men. That's all I'm saying.
No, yes. Yes. But I just thought that for a sense of community in which they're trying to give and show off here, why is it only manly? Why isn't it everyone?
Or is it a troll? Are they like saying manly men only? I don't know. And I'm sure this is going to make its way. Yeah, but is Gay Bros ironic? Well, is it ironically timed? I'm sure the Gay Bros will be talking about this on Reddit because I'm sure I'm going to post this somewhere on there. So you'll tell me. But no, I didn't know if it was hyper masculine, which is why I would.
Well, we do have one Gen Z at the table. Where? So right there. So you,
me.
What do you think?
What do I think? I think it's kind of an ironic base because it's not necessarily saying, yo, bro, why is my butthole tingle after a night at the bathhouse? You know, which is a valid question that you should talk to your doctor about. But what comes down to it is that you have this platform that you can openly express, whether it's under your actual account, your throwaway account, which is an account you use if you just want to like say something possibly embarrassing and not be traced down by it, or even an anonymous account where you can say, hey, this is my thought, or this is something I'm going through, any input, and you can have that honest reaction from other people who have had this experience or a third-party point of view. And that's something that's great. You know, now are there going to be like a gay femme Reddit subreddit? There probably is, frankly. There's so many different subreddits throughout the entire platform. Yeah. It's been around for, what, 12 years it was?
It's like
yes.
2012.
Yes,
So,
yes.
over a
So
decade.
yes, November
over a
2nd,
decade.
a sacred day on the internet calendar. I will be having an online party.
I like that you were able to Gen Z explain things for John.
I had to. She's getting old.
Well,
The throwaway account.
Though I am often mistaken as being a member of Generation Alpha. I am actually a member of Gen X, and I do remember when the internet was becoming a thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was something we had to, it was college, and we had to walk to the library. We had to walk outside and then uphill both ways to get
Back
to the
in
library.
his day, he had to walk up the hill to the library.
But even back then, message boards were becoming a thing, and it was a great way to reach out and communicate. Now, here we are, 35 years later, and there's still a way for people to meet and connect and share ideas, and that's really important, because we all think, America, and go out to the bars and all this stuff, but there are a lot of places in the world where this is their only connection. Mm-hmm. And so these chat boards, despite being a staple of the internet, are still very important to large segments of our community. So thank you, gay bros, and feel free to @ me. Well, up next, let's queer up Hotspots Magazine. Hotspots Magazine and LGBTQ plus culture on stands January 18th. The new issue of Hotspots hit stands on Thursday, and 2024, we're celebrating 40 years of being Florida's leading magazine for queer culture. Oh, hello. Hi, Anthony.
Who's that?
Yeah, you're getting an exclusive look at the cover. That's what that is. In this issue, you'll meet Wicked's Elphaba, Jessica Voss, as she stars in a new Broadway-themed show at the Parker on the 21st. What gay man didn't love Sex in the City? You get a first-hand look at Candace Bushnell, the novel writer and TV show creator, at the Kravitz Center on January 26th. The story allows you to get to know the real Carrie Bradshaw. Not sure if they're going to be serving Cosmos or not, but we hope. You also learn about Arts United, the largest LGBTQ plus arts organization in Florida, and Alexander and the Birds of Paradise in the new show presented at Sunshine Cathedral on January 7th. Hotspots will remind a generation past and a generation new of the return of Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey Circus, coming to Amarant Bank Arena in Sunrise, January 27th and 28th. The feature article shows you the real inspiration of The Greatest Showman. Hotspots also gives you a behind-the-scenes peek into Hollywood. No, not California, but my Hollywood Pride, which returns January 28th. Don't miss the self-help feature on New Year, New You, as it's time to take another look at those resolutions. Queer Black History Month is celebrated in the feature on Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater at the Arsh Center on February 2nd and 3rd. For our hometown, you get to meet Diana Papafotis, the Women of Pride coordinator at the Pride Center at Equality Park. Another feature shows some of South Florida's hottest restaurants for the queer community in Hot Eats. Plus, learn the top 10 things you should do and what's hot this week. It's all in this week's magazine, part of Hotspots Happening Out Television Network, Florida's largest non-profit media brand, and you can grab a copy starting Thursday. There's a lot going on.
There's a lot. Yeah,
I think the book's going to be like this thick.
Yeah.
And after you read all of those articles, you can look for pictures of us hanging out on the drive.
Yes, you can.
That's
I'm
really
sure,
what.
I'm sure John and I probably make an appearance at least once.
Even though we shouldn't. Oh, you know what else hit stands Thursday? The new issue of Out South Florida.
Oh.
And here's a look at some of the stories I'm working on.
Oh.
This week in Out South Florida, powered by Queer News Tonight. I'm Out South Florida senior reporter John Hayden. In this week's issue, I take a tour of the new Sunshine Pride House, providing shelter, counseling, and life skills for South Florida's LGBTQ plus youth. Also, the Smart Rise closes its accounts in an emotional ceremony, but its impact lives on. And is a third leather bar coming to South Florida? And will it cause a community split? I'm John Hayden. Those stories and more in Out South Florida, on stands and online, and follow me on Instagram at John Hayden Journalist for breaking news and live updates.
Next, we are proud of our special partnership with Sunshine Cathedral, the world's largest queer church here in Fort Lauderdale. Supporting that partnership, we are broadcasting from our permanent set here at Sunshine Cathedral at the Happening Out television studios. We broadcast Sunshine Cathedral's Sunday International Service at 10:30 a.m.
We finish tonight's Queer News headlines with a segment we call LGBTQ plus 1 minute news. Pitter patter, let's get at her.
LGBTQ plus 1 minute news. Let's queer up the courts. Trends show Joe Biden on track to appoint most LGBTQ plus judges in history. Recently, Biden nominated Judge Melissa DuBose for the U.S. District Court of Rhode Island. If confirmed by the Senate, she would be the first LGBTQ plus judge and the first person of color to serve on that court. Also awaiting confirmation is Nicole Berner, whom Biden has nominated for the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals. Berner will also blaze a trail of glory if confirmed, becoming the first out LGBTQ plus judge in the Fourth Circuit. The confirmation of both Berner and DuBose would bring Biden's total number of appointed out LGBTQ plus judges to 11 in his first term alone, with a full year yet to go. In comparison, President Barack Obama appointed the same number over 2 terms and 8 years.
LGBTQ plus 1 minute news. Let's queer up the USA view. Elon Musk's new low as he claims calling someone cisgender is heterophobic. Many in America continue to wonder what will come out of the owner of X and Tesla next. He answered our question this week as Elon Musk tweeted that calling someone cisgender is a quote-unquote heterophobic way to describe a person. It's just the latest effort in a long-standing campaign by the billionaire to turn words that are largely seen as neutral into some kind of hate speech. This is not the first time that Mr. Musk has said something like this. He tweeted a similar post back in June, declaring unilaterally that the word cis and cisgender are hate speech. It's unclear if any X users have actually seen negative consequences for using the terms. But does it mean that these tweets can materialize into official policy at the social media company?
LGBTQ plus 1 minute news. Let's queer up LGBTQ plus students and youth culture. LGBTQ plus youth nonprofit Wilton Collective, moving from the Drive to Holy Mackerel site with significantly larger space. Wilton Collective, a local upscale consignment shop, will leave its spot next month and shift to the old Holy Mackerel spot in Island City Plaza on 26th Street. Founder Julian Cavazos plans to start moving on Monday, February 19th and have the shop up and running for a happy hour party that Friday. At the new location, the shop will have significantly larger floor space, and he hopes it will create more opportunities for the store's mission, which is to help LGBTQ plus youth find a safe space and develop life skills. It's all part of the larger organization, Julian's Fountain of Youth. In addition to the larger sales floor, there is also a 1,400 square foot event space where he hopes to conduct youth group and other meetings and events. And you can read more about this in my article in Out South Florida, on stands and online now.
LGBTQ plus 1 minute news. Let's queer up South Florida and Florida. My Hollywood Pride 100 Brunch celebrates HRC Perfect Ranking on January 27th. This year's Pride 100 Brunch is a celebration of Hollywood's 100th score for the 2023 on the HRC Municipal Equality Index. You can be a part of this celebration by attending a special brunch downtown at the new Redwood Kitchen restaurant on Saturday, January 27th. The brunch is the unofficial kickoff event for My Hollywood Pride, which occurs the following day. Co-hosted by the Hollywood LGBTQ+ Council and My Hollywood Pride with support from our fund, the event showcases individuals making a difference for our LGBTQ+ community. Besides great food and entertainment, the brunch will also be presenting the annual Trailblazer Award to Hollywood resident Francesca D'Amore for her activism, spirit, and leadership in the LGBTQ+ community. Seating for the brunch is limited, so get your tickets early. My Hollywood Pride is supported as presenting LGBTQ+ media sponsors, Hotspot Magazine, Happening Out Television Network. Single brunch tickets start at $100. Further information is available at myhollywoodpride.com.
LGBTQ+ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up South Florida and Florida. Alex Roitman Tango Ensemble comes to Sunshine Cathedral Center for Performing Arts on January 21st. Led by Alex Roitman, Art is a Sarasota-based group performing exciting, authentic Argentine tango music for both dancers and listeners. Combining strong classical skills with extensive tango-style training and individual musicality, this ensemble is ready to bring the flavor of Buenos Aires to Florida's queer audience. For this performance, Art will be joined by two very special guests on violin. This concert will be hosted by Sunshine Cathedral Center for the Performing Arts on Sunday, January 21st. Sunshine Cathedral Center for the Performing Arts is a nonprofit experience supporting the LGBTQ+ community. It's also America's leading LGBTQ+ live entertainment series. Tickets for the concert start at $25. Even John Hayden can afford that. Further details of the event are available on sunshinecathedral.org.
I'm not that well paid.
That is today's news for the LGBTQ+ community on the world's first and only daily LGBTQ+ evening news show.
If our community is important to you, share this news with your friends and family. Are you, like most of America, part of our very large television audience watching this live LGBTQ+ news broadcast right now on Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, and Amazon Fire TV?
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ+ digital television show in the world that is literally out of the closet and into the headlines. We need your support. If our community is to grow, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world.
This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ+ stories in motion and sound. That is the passion of Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and Queer News Tonight.
I'm John Moneybags Hayden. And on behalf of these LGBTQ+ reporters, the anchors of Queer News
We
Tonight,
lost one. Where'd he go?
There you go. I think Eric left. Oh, there he is! Including Dr. Tai Houser, Mr. Cameron Glass, and DJ Eric. We will see you daily at 8. And to our LGBTQ+ world, we wish you a very good
Good night.